You see what happens when you let your sister cut your hair? Yeah, this is probably the shortest my hair has been since I was maybe 12 years old. Not trying to complain too much because it's her birthday. I should try being a little nicer. Yeah, I should probably try being nicer. Extraction was directed by Sam Hargrave and stars Chris Hemsworth, who plays a black market mercenary who's given a mission to rescue a drug lord's son who is being held for ransom by a rival. So Sam Hargrave, this is his directorial debut. He is known for his work as a stunt coordinator. He is very good friends with the Russo brothers, and Joe Russo wrote the screenplay for Extraction. Now, I did not have very high expectations for this film. Netflix movies never tend to be that great. Last year, my favorite movie from Netflix that went straight to there was Triple Frontier. And I will be honest, this movie definitely went far beyond my expectations. This was a much better movie than what I was anticipating, and a lot of that has to do with not only Sam Hargrave, but also Chris Hemsworth. Immediately, something that caught my attention while watching Extraction is how dirty this movie looks and feels. It looks grim, it's darkly lit, there's a lot of trash all over the sets in Extraction. Watching this film, I feel like I'm taking a bath in a dumpster. That's just how gross this movie looks. But it does actually work to the film's advantage because that's the vibe they're going for. This is not supposed to be a brightfully colored, joyful, happy movie. This is a dark, gritty film that doesn't have too many moments where you can go, I am just feeling so good watching this film. No, it's nothing like that. Chris Hemsworth, as the lead actor, gives a fine performance. His dialogue is nothing special, but in the action sequences, this might be his best work in an action movie that I've ever seen. I know Thor, he does a great job, but in this movie, this was a hard film to not only film, but to act in, because there's a lot expected out of you when you have stunts like the stunts we have in this movie. I'm sure the action scenes took a toll on Chris Hemsworth's body, but he thrived in those scenes. He was great. Also, if you're watching this movie expecting a funny Chris Hemsworth performance, that's not the kind of performance you're going to get out of Chris Hemsworth in this movie. His character is stoic. There's a lot that happened to his character in the past. There's not much funniness coming out of Chris Hemsworth in this movie. He's a very stoic character. Looking at the action in the movie, it's brutal, exhilarating, impressively filmed. There's one 12-minute long take in this movie where they don't cut at all, which was mind-blowing to me. I have no idea how they pulled it off, but I love the action in this movie. This is probably some of the best action I've ever seen coming from a straight-to-Netflix movie. Another impressive action sequence to mention was earlier in the film where Chris Hemsworth just goes to town on 20-plus men inside of a house. It was awesome. The pacing in the film is exceptional. It never slows down. There's not one dull moment in the movie, except for a few scenes where they're actually developing the characters, and the characters in this movie, at first I was like, there's not much characterization here, but towards the middle and end of this film, they do a lot to build up our main characters and make us care. I did not expect myself to care nearly as much about these characters as I did by the film's finale. They did a great job at giving us reasons to care about them. Oddly enough, because of that, I felt my heartstrings being tugged on during the film's ending. They managed to pull that off. I have no idea how. I guess it's because of the Russo brothers. They know how to do that kind of stuff. If you watched Endgame, Infinity War, and all the Marvel movies, yeah, it's a similar kind of feeling, and they really did succeed in that category, and that blew my mind probably more than anything else in this film. The ending is so satisfying. The music, Chris Hemsworth's performance, it's all so well done. I do only have a couple of problems. They're not too big. While there are some unique qualities to our main villains in the film, it's once again just a one-dimensional big old bad guy who wants money and wants to get revenge on the other drug lord who's powerful. Nothing is too special about the film's main villain. He's just there and wants to be evil. That's how this film works with his main villain. I was taken aback as well when some characters changed their motives and their characters changed as a whole. It kind of felt like the film's continuity did not always hold together as good as it could have been. And what I'm talking about is that there's one character here that does some pretty awful things, and Chris Hemsworth's character almost kills this guy. These two don't seem to like each other very much in the middle of the movie during one scene. And then by the end, Chris Hemsworth's just like, no, I know you did some terrible things. I know we almost killed each other, but let's just put all of that aside and try to get this job done. It doesn't always make that much sense considering what happened just hours before. Aside from that, the only other noteworthy negative I can point out is the CGI. The movie looks a lot better when it's solely using its practical effects. When it opts to go in the CGI direction, yeah, it looks pretty bad, but the practical effects in this movie were great. Extraction ended up being a much better movie than I initially thought it would be. I can give a lot of that credit to Sam Hargrave, who specializes in stunts, so obviously this movie was going to be great from an action standpoint. Yes, it does have a couple of problems, and I might be going a little bit too high with my score, but that ending, man, it wrecked me. I'm giving Extraction an 85%. Alright, for those of you who also saw Extraction on Netflix, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's a good action movie? Is it one of the best Netflix movies of all time? As always, if you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.